Good morning, world. This is Edward Bevilacqua here in Las Vegas. Once again, November 29th, 2018, here in Las Vegas. As I said, it's a beautiful, clear day. There are some clouds in the sky. It's probably low 40s. It's about 8:15 in the morning here on Thursday, the last Thursday in November. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about what is success. And for our purposes, the purposes of our school, that's what we're all about, is helping struggling adults become successful. We don't teach people knowledge. We don't teach people how to think. We help people learn the tools and techniques to become successful. That's it. No big deal, nothing special. Just helping struggling adults learn the techniques, tools and techniques to become successful. What are struggling adults? So struggling adults are most of the people out there in the world. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. Most people would have a hard time coming up with $5,000 cash. But that's not the struggling people we're looking at. So if you think of a normal distribution of all people who don't have $10,000 or $20,000 in the bank and savings, et cetera, et cetera. If you think of the universe of all of those people, there'll be a normal distribution, a bell curve. And those would be called struggling adults, people who, let's say, don't have $10,000 or they can't come up with $5,000 or they live paycheck to paycheck. So if we take that subset, that universe, it'll basically break down into three categories. People who don't need help. In other words, they know what they're doing. It's just going to take time for them to do it. Maybe they just started a job. Maybe they're paying off their college loans. Maybe this, maybe that. But they're on track. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. They just need to execute the plan. That's on one end. People who don't need help. The other end is people who can't be helped. They are institutionalized. They're hospitalized. They're infirm. They're not able to work. They rely upon the government or other agencies or family or friends, or they're just out on their own, but they can't be helped. There's nothing that can be done. So we don't deal with the first group, we don't deal with the second group. So most of the people, depending upon how much help they get, they will either continue to struggle or not. And so again, we're kind of at the top of the curve. These people on this side are on the downhill side. They just need to, they kind of have it going. They just need to execute. Maybe they need to refine their plan. Maybe they need to get into a stable thing, whatever it is, but they're on their way to not struggling. We don't deal, that's not our core student base. Our student base are the people on the uphill side of the curve, the people who, if they don't get help, could very well slide back down to the other side, that are chronically struggling, homelessness, underemployment, unemployment, etc. So that's our prime focus, our prime target market, our group, the demographics we're looking for are the people who need help the most, but who can be helped. We don't try to help people who can't be helped because they can't be helped. We don't try to help people who don't need help because they don't need help. We really don't focus on the people who don't really need that much help either. We focus on the people who, if they don't get help, are very likely to slide down to really bad area. So that's our thing. So we want to take that subset of the universe of struggling people to help them learn the tools and techniques to become successful. And our business is setting up classrooms to do that. That's setting up and staffing classrooms to do that. That's our business, setting up and staffing classrooms to help struggling adults become successful. Okay, so the key word left in that phrase is successful. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What is our definition of success? So broadly speaking, it's having not having to worry about money. Being in a situation where you don't have to worry about money. You have a job, you have savings, you have insurance, you have retirement account. You don't have to worry about working at Walmart as a greeter when you're 75 and eating cat food with your top ramen. That's not success. Success is not that. It's having savings, retirement. You have money to go on vacation. You have money for holidays. You have money for birthdays. That's the success part of it. That's part of the definition of success. That's the money part. But that's just very generally that life is not bad. Life is not bad when you're in a position if you don't have to worry about money to survive. Okay? Now, it might not be good, but it's not bad if you don't have to worry about needing money to survive. Again, simple, broad definition. Okay, so now if we bring that down a level, well, let's try to make that a little bit more specific. So for us, success equals having money, like we just talked about, or I just talked about, plus having meaning and purpose in your life. Money isn't enough. And a lot of people who don't have money will say that money is the root of all evil. Okay, we don't put a value judgment on money. Our definition of money is just the ability to experience more. Oh, the sun went behind a cloud. Oh, butterfly. So money is just the ability to experience more. That's it. It's a tool. It's like a hammer. A hammer can be used to make things. It can be used to break things. In itself, it's just a tool. Money is the same thing. It's just the ability to experience more. Therefore, having money isn't a guarantee for happiness, because you could use money for very destructive things like drugs or other drugs or addictions, where you take all of your money and you just spend it on things that you're addicted to. So money in itself is not going to lead to success. Having a lot of money just means you have a lot of money. Whether you're successful or not depends upon what you do with that money. But in our definition for our school, you have to have money. You can't be under the jackboot of having to every day go out and have enough so you can, for food, clothing, shelter, etc. So that's what money is. Now, and again, you can't be happy if you just have money. So what do you need? You need meaning and purpose. You need to have a reason for being here. You need to answer the question, what's my purpose for being here? So imagine life asked you the question, what is the meaning of your life? What is your purpose for being here? And having a good answer to that question is important. Here in our program, we really focus on the writings and teaching and instruction of Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor, German Jewish psychiatrist who spent 3 years in Auschwitz and other camps. And what he observed while he was there, and his beliefs before that, and his subsequent beliefs after being released and surviving and talking. So it's the purpose for life is the search for meaning. That what we're all doing is we're searching for meaning, or we should be searching for meaning. And if we're not searching for meaning in life, we can't really be happy or content. So for us, success is helping people learn the tools and techniques so that they have money, so they don't have pressure, they have money, and they have meaning and purpose. So now if we deconstruct on that, what is meaning and purpose? So for our definition in our class, meaning and purpose is service to other people. It could be to a person, it could be to a group of people, it could be to a community, it could be to your country, but it's service to others. And that requires a sacrifice. So if you invest in other people, that's not really service to others, that's an investment. So to have meaning and purpose, you have to sacrifice. You have to give up something for yourself to help somebody else in life. And one thing that everybody can do, regardless of how much money you have, today you can do it, and that is to spend time with other people, helping them make their life better with no expectation of return. So if you break it down that way, that means high school students who want to get extra credit for going and feeding the poor, that's not sacrifice, that's not meaning and purpose, that's not sacrifice, because they're doing it. The only reason they're doing it is to get a grade or to get fulfill some requirement. And I would say that's really dangerous for schools to promote that type of thinking. That you should get something out of helping other people. That's not going to make you happy, because what's quite likely to happen is if you think that going and helping starving people, going and working in a soup kitchen for the poor one day is going to make you happy, what's likely to happen is you're going to come home at the end of the day and say, boy, was that a colossal waste of time. These people didn't appreciate it, they're dirty, they're smelly, I don't want them to know who I am, I don't want them to know where I am, I don't want to touch them. That was really a bad experience. But at least I got my credit. Okay, not a good idea. So sacrifice your time with no expectation of return is our definition of meaning and purpose. Okay, so how do we get there? So how do we get money and have meaning and purpose? Well, power. We use the word power. Power for us is kind of like money, it's value neutral. Power simply means getting other people to do what you want. That's what power means. And power can be used, power is like the Force, power can be used to harm people or it can be used for good. In Star Wars there was the dark side and there was the other side of the Force. And everybody had to decide how they wanted to use it. If you use the Force for the dark side, then you would become somebody bad. You'd be maybe a Sith. If you use the Force for good, you could become a Jedi Knight. So for us, our path to success, the way we get to success, the way we get money and have meaning and purpose, is getting other people to do what we want. And this is not in a negative way. This is not by manipulating people. It's not by forcing people to do things. It's by motivating them or just doing it because it's the right thing to do. Getting people to think of it that way, to be self-motivated, helping people become self-motivated. So our path to success is power, getting other people to do what we want. And if you think about it, can you be successful? Can you get money? Can you have meaning and purpose if you don't have other people in the equation? So let's say you start with a gold bar, one of those big gold bars, and that's what you have, but you're not dealing with any people. Let's say you're on a deserted island. How much value is the gold bar as gold? 0. You can't trade it, you can't eat it. You could use it to pound open coconuts and things like that, but very little value having that. Now let's say you had another person on the island and you could get them to help you make shelter, help you find food, make clothing, etc. How successful could you be? A lot more successful. So it turns out that the best way to become successful is to have a lot of people doing what you want them to do. Let me see if I can. I don't know if that helped, but we'll try that for additional lighting. So you have to have other people involved in the equation. And the better you are at getting people to do what you want, the more successful you should become if you have those people doing the right thing. And that is if those people are in alignment with helping you get money and have meaning and purpose. It's just as easy to use the power, to do bad things. You could just as easily motivate people to do bad things, or manipulate people to do bad things, or manipulate people so you get money, but then you're not really going to have meaning and purpose if you're motivating people to do bad things. So in our program, what we do is we help struggling adults learn the tools and techniques to get other people primarily self-motivating them or motivating them to do what you want them to do. And the result is that you will have money and meaning and purpose in your life. That's it. It's really simple. Not easy, but it's simple. Most people don't know that, and they're pursuing other things and have a lot of crazy ideas of what success is and how to get to it. For us, it's very simple. Getting other people to help you get money plus have meaning and purpose. So one example could be going and getting a job, getting other people to hire you to have a job so that you have money and then you have meaning and purpose in your life. You have money to pay your bills, have a nice house, etc., raise kids, raise a family. Raising the kids to be good people would be one way to have meaning and purpose, because you do have to sacrifice a lot for children with no expectation of return. So money plus meaning and purpose through getting other people to do what you want. How do we get other people to do what we want? Well, we have that taken down to another level, just a very simple, elegant formula. Bond, add value, and ask. So let's say I want to have meaning and purpose, so I'm going to spend my time with somebody with no expectation of return. Well, that person's going to want to have to spend time with me. So I need to bond with them. And by bonding, we literally mean if you and the other people you wanted to bond with were in fMRI machines and we could see the neural activity, it would look similar. That's bonding. So you can't be manipulating people and be bonding at the same time. That's not really bonding. That's faking it, and that's manipulating people. So bonding is your brain patterns, your neural activity is similar to their neural activity. People can look at it and say, oh yeah, I can see there's a commonality there. You are bonded. And then adding value, making somebody's life better, meaning and purpose. And then you have to ask people to do things. You can't expect people to do something just because you do something nice for them. Reciprocity works with people who understand reciprocity, but other people, especially our profile of student, have an attitude of I have to get what I can get, I have to get or I get God. You know, that somebody's going to take advantage of me. So they're not even thinking the rules of the game are reciprocity. Thus, you have to ask. And it becomes a bargain for exchange, where the bargain is, here's the value I'm going to add to you, here's what I want you to give me in return. Most people don't ask, or most people ask but they don't add value. That's called begging. Begging is when you ask for something, you don't give anything in return. Some people bond and ask, another form of begging. Other people just beg. Got a cigarette, got spare change, my car ran out of gas, you got some money I could have, I can borrow, I'll pay you back. That's begging. And that's not really a good approach. Nobody really likes begging. So that's it. That's our thing. That's our short little, here's what success is. To be successful in our program, you need to have this definition internalized to the point where it becomes automatic. So it's like a Neil Martin level where it's in your unconscious brain that you just do it all the time. Or to a Jordan Peterson thing where your predisposition in life is, what can I do right now in the next 10 minutes to make my environment better? What can I do to make it a little bit better? With people or with just in the place I am, clean up my room, etc. But more about that later. Thank you for being there, world.